information. So just kind of networking and whatnot. So kind of the first time I've done that with, the real estate thing. So that was
Okay.
kind of exciting. So
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, so stuff's a little different, right? When you come out like military, we network, if you will, to get the mission done, that type of thing, right? But it's not networking for profit. It's not networking to build your network. It's not networking for how can you guys help each other down the road. For the most part, it's not networking to figure out if you want to go grab drinks or you have mutual interests, whatever, right? It's military, it's mission, it's different, right? You're now in the realm where, you're not going to have your boss as a connector, for example, right? To tell you who to go talk to at whatever unit to get the job done. Um, so yeah, the networking thing's a big deal. Putting yourself out there is a big deal. So good on that. I know everyone feels risks when they do things like that. You have to question, are people judging me? Are they judging every word I'm saying? All those fun things that we deal with in human life, right? So good job on doing that. The other thing I would say, networking for you, where are you at in Colorado? Remind me.
all right, I'm unmuted. Yeah, so we're out here on the western slope, so Montrose, which is about an hour south of Grand Junction. So we're kind of far down on the
Yeah.
western slope of Colorado.
Okay. How far away from Denver are you?
We're 5 hour drive from Denver.
So a
So
ways. Okay.
yep, a
Gotcha.
ways. Yep.
Yeah, it'd be a bit. I'd recommend at least trying to plan something sometime this year when you can fit it in. You and Ethan should meet up.
Yeah, I saw
So,
that he's out of Denver, correct?
yep. Yeah, he's out
Okay.
of
Yeah.
Denver, but he served Sea Springs. Like he helped one of my coworkers from 15 years ago, reach out to me to sell his house in Peyton. And so he ended up serving his house in the Peyton area, which is outside of Sea Springs. So he serves a wide area right now for us on the team, but I would just meet up with him and just a network. And if you haven't already, make sure that, for anyone that's on the call that's licensed, you have your license at EXP as you're going through this, make sure you're part of Milnet, right? That's a big deal. Within the company, I think we have about 3,000 people within the military network group. I sit on the national leadership team for that group with Deanna Riles, Mike Nelson, all are either vets or military spouses, right? So um, for those that haven't gone to an EXP con, if you guys come out this year, it's in Miami. For you, it'd be a great chance to get away from what's going to start being cold in October, right? To come out to Miami and check it out. But we usually have either a military breakfast or a military lunch. I think they're trying to do lunch this year where it's all military vets, active duty spouses, or supporters, right? Folks that are supportive of the military. And Glenn Sanford, the founder of EXP, usually is there for the majority of that, hour and a half. So it's a good opportunity just to see him there supporting, also get a chance to chat with the founder of the company. Um, Very unique. This is not, again, it's not military, right? You're not, he's your four-star general, if you will, of the company, right? But he's not unapproachable like most four-star generals are in the military. We have a chain of command in the military, got it, understand the function for it. But the reality is within our company, if you need to get something done and you're being told no and you don't think that you should be told no, it's a very flat organization. And I've reached out to him directly on Workplace and received a response the very next morning, right? And he doesn't owe that to me, but that's just how he is, and by extension, how he expects his staff to be. So it's really cool to be able to see that in action, and get out of that military mindset of, I'm a captain. I got to go to the major, then the lieutenant colonel, then the colonel, and maybe the colonel will talk to the 1 star, right? Like you're 5 weeks down the road before you hear anything. So cool, man. Good on you for that. Like I said, try to connect with Ethan. I think he'd be a good resource for you. If nothing else, maybe you guys can share some deals together, clients as people are moving around the state, or just talk about real estate in Colorado, right? So,
Perfect. Yeah, I appreciate
yeah.
that.
Yeah. The one thing I would look at, are you licensed or are you still getting your license?
I'm still working on getting
Okay.
in. I wanted to ask, maybe this is for the group, or we can talk offline as
No, go
far as
for it.
like the closest EXP is up in Grand Junction, so an hour
Yep.
north of us. So we don't have an EXP here in town where I'm at. So could you just go through like kind of what to expect, like when I get licensed and kind of I
Absolutely.
know.
Yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off. What
No, you're
else?
good.
Okay.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
So with the EXP, right, we're a virtual brokerage. Most places you go are not going to have offices right there. For us now, we relocated to Florida. We used to be in LA. Our office for EXP was in San Ramon, Northern California, 7 hours away. Okay. The reality is that office is an address only. No one's there. So as an EXP agent, you can go get an office if you want to. Nothing stops you. You have state requirements you have to meet, all that stuff that EXP will make sure that you're by the book on, right? But you can go get an office if you want. There's Regus shared workspace that you can use anywhere in the world, which is amazing, right? You can go over to Europe and use your EXP office in Europe at the Regus location, right? But there's no brick and mortar, small mom and pop, whatever it is. The reality is Tasha started at a KW, then we went to a small brokerage that was a one shop, one location in Long Beach. That got absorbed into a 45 location in Southern California. Um, she rarely, if ever, went into the office. That's not where real estate transactions are done. That's where all your competitors are for the most part, right? That's where your meetings might happen in a traditional brick and mortar. In EXP, your office is online. Your office is the coffee shop. Your office, what I would recommend to you is find the homes that aren't selling in your market once you get licensed. Contact all those agents, see if you can hold open houses for them and make that your office every day of the week. Those are homes that some client might walk into that you can now pick up a new buyer, right? You can make social media content with, you can do all that. I don't know if you guys have watched any of the reality TV show real estate stuff. Tasha and I have been doing this for almost 10 years now. I don't know if it's, we like to punish ourselves. I don't know what it is, but part of our enjoyment on our off time is we watch reality TV real estate stuff. And the stuff that we've really been enjoying lately, we used to watch Chip and Joanna Gaines and and all that stuff's fun, right? Like Fix This House and all that stuff. But the ones that we've really enjoyed lately are I think it's buying or selling London. There's obviously Selling Sunset. That's very dramatic and it's fun in its own right, whatever. There's the one with Mauricio. The recent one that we were watching is Selling Manhattan, I think it's called. It's, Ryan Serhant. Fun watching that guy, likable guy for sure. Um, but the reason why we enjoy it as team leads, as people that have been in the industry almost 10 years now, all that type of stuff, is all the things that we go through on a daily basis, from being the agent level all the way up to being the team lead, essentially an independent brokerage level, right? We run a team across 7 states with 25 agents. That's an independent brokerage size by most calculations. Um, we get to watch these people that are doing what we've done, or for a lot of them, they're on TV shows, tenfold more, hundredfold more, whatever the case is. And they all go through the exact same darn problems with their team, with real estate, with clients, right? Like it doesn't change. Just the amount of transactions, the amount of volume, the amount of money, whatever that stuff changes, but the problems really don't change. Right. And so it's sort of a fun outlet to watch it, to see other people have to deal with the same problems on national TV. It's sort of educational. It also just makes you feel a little better that, you're not alone. Um, so there's that. We attend obviously a lot of collaborative events. So your Monday mastermind you should be at, right? Once you join, you get access to that on a regular basis. To me, that's your office, to your question, right? On Mondays, for example, you're going to have, when they do the Monday morning mastermind and then the master class, you'll have anywhere from 200 to 1,000 people on the Zoom. You're never going to fit that in a brick and mortar. You're going to have a lot of those people that are providing inputs, and you're going to have the best of the best in the nation on that particular topic talking about it. And so that's the value that we've found as we've grown. I don't think we tell our story enough, so I'll share it again. When we came to EXP, we were at about 5.8 million. We peaked at 52, right? We did 40 in a single year while I was still active duty military and Tasha was running the team or running our business, and we had no team yet. So as solo agents. So for those that want to get there, we've done every level of what you guys want to do. And that doesn't have to be your goal, right? Like 40 million a year in volume does not have to be your goal. You can make plenty of money not doing 40 million a year of volume. Again, it comes with its own headaches, right? So if that's not your goal and your goal is make 50 grand a year, we're here to help you do that. If it's to make 20, same thing, right? Whatever that goal is, the idea is that this is your accelerator to do that. You will hear everyone and their brother that's old school, that's gone through all the normal stuff, and that is still at brick and mortar tell you that you need to be at brick and mortar because it's confirmation bias and that's all they know. Again, we've been at brick and mortar. We didn't use the offices when we had them. We don't miss them now that we don't have them. I don't want an office that I have to go into every day. Quite frankly, I sit at home. I can have a polo on with workout shorts on and be super comfortable, but look professional and sell 40 plus million dollars of real estate a year, right? Don't need an office. So you won't have an office per se to go to. That doesn't really matter. I know that's the normal mindset. Again, I'm hitting on it pretty hard because it's the traditional mindset coming out. And for most of us in the military, you had an office to go into every day, or you had the flight line to go to every day, or whatever your job was, right? You're used to having to go to a prescribed location every day. Real estate gets rid of that. That's part of the goal. I mean, I don't know what your situation is, man, whether you got family or not, kids or not, all that type of stuff, but like a lot of people get into this for time freedom, right? You will eventually get to time freedom in my mind. If your goal initially, though, is money and feeding your family and financial freedom, time freedom typically doesn't come with financial freedom right off the bat, right? It's earned. And so it's definitely possible. This industry is amazing for those potentials, but you have to decide what's important to you from the get go. And again, if that's making 10 grand a year, man, we'll help you sell one deal a year, make 10 grand a year. And if you're happy, we're happy, right? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate the clarification and kind of a good way forward as well. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So if you guys don't talk, I'm going to call on everyone throughout the session today. So you're not getting out of here without chatting. So I would much rather have you guys volunteer than me have to volunteer people to have a forced conversation. So who wants to go next? Go for it, Mark.
Okay, hey, how's it going, guys? My name's Mark. I'm from Hawaii. This is my first week in the program. Actually, started doing the program because I know Zor. I work with Zor. My wife and I shoot all of him and his wife's real estate. And I told him I was getting out of the Coast Guard, and he goes, "Hey, have you thought about SkillBridge?" I was like, "Yeah, I thought about it." And he goes, "Well, we have a cool program." And I'm like, "Well, I'm not really sure if I want to be a realtor." He's like, "Well, just do the program and do the skill bridge, and maybe you like it and learn
Yep.
some things along the way."
Awesome. Yeah, I'll say it's
Yeah.
not for everyone. Like I said, right? Initially, so you're a business owner when you get into this, unless you want to go work for a builder, which there's probably not a ton of on Hawaii, right? But if you want to go work in a builder's office, have someone else tell you what to do all day long, make 30 to 60,000, whatever it is that they pay you, and that's just your job, that's fine. But outside of that, from solo agent up to team owner up to brokerage owner, you're a business owner. And the reality is the majority of agents in this industry fail in the first 2 years, and the majority of businesses in the US fail in the first 2 years. And the reason is they're not treated like businesses, they're treated like hobbies. And human nature, people in general don't want to make sacrifices, right? But I'm a very big fan of choose your hard, right? That everything at some point is hard. Choose the hard that you want, choose the outcome that you want, and go get it, right? Like all of us coming from a military background, we've been through hard stuff, right? No one's military service is easy. Doesn't matter if you deployed or not, you go through hard things in the military. So that's awesome, man, that, he got you into it. He's a fantastic guy, obviously. So his wife is amazing. We go out to, last time we were in Hawaii, we were met up with him twice, I think, went out to a couple meals, went to the beach, great folks. There's a reason he's still part of this program, helping you guys. That's awesome that you decided to go that route. If it doesn't end up being for you, that's fine. All we ask really is that you guys give this a true shot. You put the time in that you're supposed to put in. You act ethically and with integrity, right? Like you should, coming out from the military. You do the things that you signed up to do. And if at the end of the day, you get through this at 6 months, even if you get your license, and you're like, you know what, man, real estate just isn't for me. This whole time money trade off and run a business, like, I don't want that stress. I just want to go be a worker, be somewhere. Cool. Or let's say you do this and you decide you don't like it and you want to go back to shooting all his media. Obviously, I don't want him to lose you from shooting all his properties. So that's fine too. Like, whatever the ultimate outcome is, that's fine. It's just giving you guys a pathway to try out this industry, to be successful in this industry, to help accelerate your success. And if you choose to stick with it, great. We're partners. We're going to help you build. If you choose not to stick with it, there's no hard feelings, right? It's just, it is what it is. It's part of the exploratory nature of coming through this industry. Because again, it's not for everyone. And even for those people that feel it's for them, there's almost a 90% failure rate. So our goal is not having you guys be part of that 90, right? It's having you be part of the 10. But all we can do is provide systems, tools, processes, standard operating procedures, and environment to succeed. I can't do the work for you guys, right? So some people are going to be wildly successful, some aren't. Zoar is one of those that's wildly successful, right? Pedro Garcia, do you guys know him? Anyone know the name? You're on Hawaii, so maybe you know him. Former Skillbridge grad of ours, great dude, was on our team for a while, decided to go solo, right? We helped him build. He went off on his own after that. He's blossomed, man. He was just listed in the top 10 for Hawaii for the month of June. For me, I'm proud. I'm like a proud, like he's my age, so I say this jokingly, but I'm like a proud dad over here, right? I don't have kids. We helped help him get his start in real estate. He put in the hard work and he's seeing the results and the success from that. And that makes me very happy, right? That's the goal of this program. So I think you're in a great spot, man. You got two great people right there between Czar and Pedro to be able to bounce ideas off, to chat with, all that stuff. There's other great agents in Hawaii, by the way, too. Obviously, like they're not the only good agents, but Dylan Nanaka is an amazing dude that I've had time to get to know on Hawaii. Also a military veteran, right? Another person you should probably know on island.
Okay.
And there's phenomenal opportunities that you have out there on island to be able to impact a ton of families while also creating financial security for yourself. So awesome.
All right. Thanks, David.
And our team's always expanding, man. So we put that out there. So if you ever want to chat and interview to see if the team's the right fit for you, let's have that chat.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. All right. Who wants to go next? Go for it, Sid.
David, how you doing?
Hey, good, man. How are you?
Good. So I guess like just a win for me is again, I think I told these guys last week during our other team call was I'll be taking my state exam on August 28th. So looking forward to that. Just really trying to dig deep and focus on my studying. The thing that Conrad sent over with the 300 fast facts has been tremendous help. My question for you is more in the realm of prospecting. I tried using the prospecting list that I see in the SkillBridge, the 37 prospecting ideas.
Okay.
Based on your experience, I know you want us to practice cold calling.
Yeah.
What has worked for you if cold calling is not our niche? I've been doing the cold calling, obviously just with the statistics. You make 100 something calls, you might get one person to pick up and still hit on you. So if I'm still not trying to use cold calling as my thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I'll say a couple points on that. So one, I'll make this point for everyone on the call. Cold calling is a requirement for you guys, and it's as part of the internship, right? So do your calls. The reason for it is not necessarily that it's going to be your niche long term, but again, coming out of the military is a different animal, right? Like if we're being real here, whether you're in an office environment, deployed environment, whatever, for the most part, there's a required level of respect that's shared, right? There's courtesies that are shared, and there's an expectation on you on how you're going to act and on how your leadership's going to act, and there's laws they have to abide by, right? The outside world, all those bets are off, as you're talking about. The majority of people aren't going to pick up the phone. Those that do, some of them are going to hang up on you. Some of them are going to cuss you out. The goal of the cold calling is not necessarily for you to get clients. If you get clients and you set appointments for us, great. It's a benefit for our company. We appreciate it. It allows us to help the other agents on our team, right? But the real goal of the cold calling is you've got to shift from that military mindset of everyone's going to act with a certain decorum in a certain way and everything else into this mindset of this is the general public I'm dealing with that literally has no rules. And this is the environment I have to operate within. And I have to be able to handle myself with the right conduct and bearing to keep a good reputation to build my business. And so I'm going to put myself in situations that are uncomfortable, where I don't necessarily like it. I don't necessarily get the results I want, but it allows me to get a little thicker skin, to get used to this and to be able to understand how to respond, right? So for example, it may or may not work for building a client, but someone that hangs up on you, one of the greatest things is you call them right back and you're like, I'm sorry, somehow we got disconnected. It's just learning that next level, because your average agent out there in any conversation, in any communication, in any transaction hears no, and it's okay, I accept the no and I move on. Well, if you're trying to do business that way, hearing no typically doesn't get you across the finish line. So how can you find a way to dive deeper and actually have, the mental toughness that you need to work through it and the tough skin to work through it, to dive deeper in an uncomfortable situation to get to the ultimate outcome that you want, regardless of what the immediate actions are that you're going through. And that's really why cold calling is a requirement for you guys, right? So long term, we didn't build our business on cold calling, right? If you're looking for niches and how to build and how to prospect and all that stuff, for us, like Tasha hates cold calling. Now, I've done cold calling to the point, especially in more so for apartment syndications and stuff like that. But you're talking about trying to find apartment owners, people that own $5 to $50 million buildings, and calling up their secretary because that's the only number you can get online through the public info, and having the secretary hang up on you as the gatekeeper. Talk about deflating, man, right? Like, I want to talk to the guy about placing an offer on his $50 million building for my financial firm I'm working with. And I can't even get by the gatekeeper secretary because her job is protecting her boss's time. And she thinks I'm a waste of time, right? That's super deflating. And so I did that for 2+ years, typically 2 hours a day, 3 days a week. And so that's how I built up that skill set, right? And that's why I think it's really important for you guys still to do cold calls. Now, to your actual question, how to prospect, how to build your business, how to create an income for you and your family, it's really going to depend on what you want to do, what you're good at, what your skill set is, what you can get yourself comfortable to, not what you're comfortable at now, right? So for those that weren't part of our business planning session in December, I have a graph within that book that I put out. There's the bubble, the green bubble right here, right? And that's your comfort zone. That's the things that you're good in. And then there's the next one that's sort of slightly outside your comfort. Then there's the stuff that's wildly outside your comfort zone you've never done. Really, where you're going to build skill and skill set is when you start doing things you haven't done before and start becoming comfortable with it. That expands that skill zone, right? And so for you, I would start walking through the process of what do you like to do? So this again goes back to you're creating a business, right? If I had to go do things over with where we're at today and looking at things retrospectively, what do you like to do and how can you build business around that so that as you're operating within your business every single day, it's not as taxing, it's not as draining, you enjoy it. And when you enjoy it, you're more passionate about it. And when you're more passionate about it, it comes across in energy, and energy creates transactions and money, right? You being able to solve people's problems at a high level with a high level of energy that makes them feel good is what creates people wanting to come to you and pay you money to do so. So I would start diving into what do you enjoy doing in life, or what would you like to do in life that you have not done yet because of military service or whatever other barrier, and how can you build business around that? If you have kids, it can be kid stuff. If you have a dog, it can be dog stuff. For us, we have an exotic car. So when we go to exotic car events, we talk to everyone about real estate because naturally what do you do comes up as you're talking with folks, right? And we love doing exotic car stuff. So we're able to build business around that, which is great. If you like to travel, the same thing, right? So there's those aspects. Those are your affinity groups, if you will, right? Like common shared interests. So I would look at those. I do believe that everyone on this call, to be successful in the industry, to build to a level, if you're looking to get to, I would say, $70,000 or more a year, you either need to be willing to do open houses on a regular basis, door knocking on a regular basis, or cold calling on a regular basis. You don't have to do all three. You can pick one, but you need to have at least one of those in there as a pillar, as a column for your lead generation source. The online stuff, you can do that all day long. There's opportunities there for sure, but it is so super saturated, right? And the leads are cheap. And the reason the leads are cheap is because they convert at such a low rate. And the reason they convert at such a low rate is, to your point, on cold calls, for example, you might call 100 people and one person picks up. Well, how can you do any conversion at all if you can't even have a conversation? No one can sell you anything on earth, right? If they can't even get you on the phone or get you on an email or get you in person, right? Like you're not buying, you're closed off, the door's shut. So you at least need that door open to be able to have the conversation, right? And then you start looking into conversations and conversion rates and all those types of things. But again, that's why the cold call is a foundational piece of y'all's internship, because it's just the mechanism of being willing to put in the work, pick up the phone, make the dials, understanding that it's a numbers ratio to just get the opportunities to have conversations. And then once you start having conversations, you can talk to our agents on our team. We're on follow-up boss, right? They're making calls off follow-up boss. Well, those calls are recorded and it's disclosed that they're recorded to all parties. So it meets all the requirements. But when they have a good call or a bad call, they come back to us and, hey, I just had these calls. Can you listen to them and give me inputs? I can start coaching, and Tasha can start coaching for our agents and for other people that we're partnered with once we have activity. But I liken it to this. Without activity, I can't coach on anything. Right? If I'm an NFL coach and you're a receiver and you're like, hey, coach, what do I need to do on the route to better be open, to be able to catch the ball? You haven't run any routes that I've ever seen in the last 5 years. I can't tell you anything, right? I don't know what you're doing today. So my question back to you, I guess, at this point would be, with where you're at and what you want to do, what are your activities today outside of the cold calls, right? That you already said you don't like doing that. I think you should still do. But what are those other activities so that I can give you maybe more meaningful impact on where you're at today?
So I don't necessarily not like the cold calls, but I'm just still a little, brand new to it. I will say
Sure.
that I know it's going to definitely benefit me down the road. One thing I do enjoy doing is being outdoorsy and working out, being inside that realm. So
Okay.
talking to people, I'm open to that. I think for myself, I'm more of the face to face. So
Yep.
I would enjoy more so going to a public area, possibly even doing door to door and just talking to people face to face. That way I can read people more and I can show
Sure.
them my emotions and, my enthusiasm more so
Okay.
than phone.
Okay. Do you like coaching at all? You like helping people, training people, anything like that?
So funny thing is I truly, I love that. That was actually my
Okay.
degree, healthy lifestyle coaching that I got from
Okay.
Arizona State. So yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, I would say put that into this group to be able to help this group, because all of us can typically use help on the nutrition side, especially as we come out of the military and we don't have that driving force anymore. Do me a favor, also put it on my team channel, right? Since you have access to the team Slack channel, and just offer it if you don't mind. It may take some of your time, obviously. It's going to allow you to make other connections within the team on a more meaningful fashion that may result in business for you down the road, right? For real estate. My recommendation for you would be, as far as that piece, if that's what you truly love and enjoy, do you live in an HOA? Like, where do you live right now? Apartment, HOA? Like, where do you live?
I own right now, but
Okay.
there's no HOA here.
There is an HOA?
There's not.
Ah, okay. Do you have a community gym?
I just go to the one on base, but there are gyms around the area, very small. So where I live off Edwards is Rosemont. So it's a very small
Okay.
town. The nearest
Yep.
bigger one is Palmdale, Lancaster. So
Okay. Try this then if there's nothing else. Try doing some meetups. That's truly what you enjoy doing. Try doing some workout meetups for free. Okay. Most people don't want to spend money on like going to the gym. They don't want to spend money on a trainer. They don't, right? And let's be real, the economy right now sort of sucks for most people, right? Like everything's more expensive. There's not enough money to go around. People have mouths to feed, and sometimes it's tough, right? So if you offer something for free and you start putting it out, but you got to do it with consistency. Any of this stuff I'm going to give you, this is not a do it for 1 week, see if it works and stop. It's do it for 6 months or more before you give a yes, no decision on it. Okay. So I personally, if I was in your boat and doing what you do and with your background, I would do a meetup. I'd put it out there. I'd put it on Facebook. I'd start getting your friends to share it. Start having folks show up. Do it in a park. Do free workouts, right? Do it for varying degrees of folks. And I probably wouldn't do yoga because not everyone's into yoga. I do actual some strength training, some cardio, whatever, right? That you can do without equipment. Don't charge at all, but have something there with like a QR code for more information, whatever, and reference your real estate business. Allow people to show up, give to them for free, make deposits to them for free, create that community, create those relationships. and ideally become the realtor, the agent for all the people that show up. And as you start doing that and as word spreads, you'll likely get referrals from those people as well. The way we initially built our business in LA, we knew no one in LA. We were fortunate to be there for almost 10 years, right? So that allowed our business to really blossom. But when Tasha first started, she's an introvert. She doesn't like cold calling. We knew no one, literally no one. When she was at KW and they're like, call 10 people in the area to tell them you're a realtor and get this thing started. She's like, I don't know 10 people in the area. What do you want me to do? And of course, it's, oh, call your family, do this, do that, whatever. That's fine. But we knew no one. The way that we built it up initially was we were willing to help, especially for military families, anyone, regardless of the pay. And we helped with a lot of rentals as well in the first 2 years. And rentals don't pay a lot of money, and there's still a ton of work. But those families that we helped, some of them went on to buy with us. Some of them moved elsewhere and referred people to us. Some of them, while they were there and people are coming in and they're like, hey, we got a new person coming to the unit, right? You get matched up with your sponsor on base and all that stuff. Said, go talk to the Gwilts. They helped me when I was renting, when there was like not much in it for them. If they take care of me that way, right? I imagine these are the words they use. If they take care of me that way, then when you're buying and there's more money on the table, they're going to take care of you even better, right? So we built up a reputation for ourselves, essentially organically and free. We haven't done Zillow. We haven't done Zillow Flex. We haven't paid for Realtor.com. We haven't done any of that stuff. We've been in the industry 8-something years now and done over $200 million of deals without paying for any of those things. So if you're on a budget, you can bootstrap it. If you have some money you can throw at it, you can make it grow quicker, right? Just make sure it's got good ROI at about the 6-month mark. Start looking at it. But yeah, I would look at the affinity side and I would grow that way.
All right. Thank you, David.
Yeah, man. Cool. Who wants to go next? Go for it, Nate.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Nathan Stafford here from upstate South Carolina, kind of halfway between Atlanta and Charlotte, a little area around Greenville. Just getting going here on the internship. Appreciate all the support and education, taking lots of good notes here. My question kind of stems from I'm coming back to this area where I have a lot of family after being gone for a couple decades in the military. And as I transition to kind of leveraging my sphere of influence here and getting the word out about, hey, I'm transitioning into real estate, getting those conversations going. Any good tips for kind of segueing into that? I have a background in medicine in the military, and so I plan to continue to do some medicine work as well, and kind of utilize sphere of influence and a big family here, and so I know a lot of people, and there's a lot of construction happening here, a lot of friends in construction and home renovation, contractors, that kind of thing. I got flooring guys here today throwing down flooring behind me. So yeah, any good tips for that kind of leveraging sphere of influence stuff as I get back into the mix here?
Sure. Remind me, do you have your license? What's your license status right now?
I do not have my license yet. Just by getting my license in probably 6 weeks or so.
Okay. Yeah. So in prep for that, right? I would start getting your stuff together. And when do you finish your internship with us? What's the end date?
End date of my internship is the end of October.
Okay. So you'll probably have your license. Maybe you should have it before the end. Okay, cool. So yeah, basically what we'll do is before the end, you'll join the team, even if it's for 6 weeks, right? You'll get a feel for the team. Prior to that, since you're working on your license right now, if you haven't already, I think I asked him to reach out to you, but connect up with Delavar McKee, right? He's on our team. So connect up with him. He's doing side hustles right now in addition to real estate. So real estate's not full time for him. He's doing like junk removal and stuff like that, which also, by the way, it's lead generation, right? It's within the real estate realm. Yeah. People do that a lot of times when they're prepping to sell. So for your sphere, there's a few things. One, making announcements, right? I don't know if you've done stuff about, either retiring or separating from the military yet. Make sure you do those. Make sure you do whatever you're transitioning to. I would talk about the internship, talk about what you're learning so far, talk about the opportunity for other military members to do the same thing, right? Mm-hmm. Tell them to reach out to you. And this is not for clients right now, but this is for long-term, for you to build your rev share organization, right? Which can be very beneficial long term for you guys. And that way they can come through our program, they can use our program, but they'll come in and you'll sponsor them to EXP, right? So I would do that. I'd make sure to be active on the social media front. On the in-person front, the big thing, if you haven't read like How to Win Friends and Influence People or any of those books, the big thing I would do is you're talking with people, especially as you're reconnecting, you're making new friends, right? It's talk less, listen more. Number one. Number two, ask questions. Everyone likes to talk about themselves. It's human nature, right? So part of selling, marketing, modeling, mirroring, all that stuff, ask questions. And one of the questions that needs to be in your tool belt for every conversation when you meet new people is ask them what they do for a living. Okay. You want to know because you want to be ideally in this industry, you're a connector. You don't just sell real estate, right? You connect people. So like we just got a testimonial that came through, give me a little bit of tears in my eyes. It's from a client that we just helped. And he talked about literally how we helped them try to buy housing in LA when we were there. Didn't work out for them. Timing wasn't right. We helped them with other info, and we actually helped connect them with people that saved them on both rental insurance and car insurance. It's not my job, right? But we're connectors. We know people. Yeah. Then when they came to Florida, they recently reconnected with us, said, hey, LA is not going to work for us. We're going to buy in Florida. Can you guys help us? And it's in Melbourne. It's on the other coast, but we have agents on our team that serve that area. And we're like, yeah, we can help you out. And so the testimonial goes on to be like, hey, within 3 days, you got me connected to this guy. We saw about a dozen homes when I came to town. We closed on a house in only 3 weeks after going under contract, despite the hurricane coming through. And David and Tasha did diving saves because of their connections they had and everything else. We're actually able to close, even with an insurance moratorium and all that, right? So it's all human connections. It's the experience. It's helping. If all you ever do is help someone buy or sell a house, and there's no experience behind it, they don't have a good feeling at the end of it, and you don't stay in touch with them, you've got one sale. You'll never get another from them, right? The idea is you want them to feel good about it. You want to actually truly help them. You want to truly care about them, which goes beyond just the real estate transaction. It goes to connecting them with other things they have a need for, right? And so as you start talking to people and you ask them, hey, what do you do for work, right? What are your passions? You start talking about things, note those things. Right? You may meet someone that's an auto insurance agent, someone over here that's a doctor, and you start connecting people and you create this web of connections. And that becomes very valuable, both for your network that knows you, but also for your business as you build it. Right. And so I would do that. The other reason that you're going to ask what they do for a living is reciprocity. Most people will ask you the same question back when it's their turn to talk, and they'll ask you what you do. And that now allows you to open up to them and tell them that you do real estate and that you're continuing to serve people in real estate post a career of service in the military and the medical field, right? So you're just continuing to serve in a different way. And it allows you to get that information to them without forcing it on them and without being like, hey, my name's David. Good to meet you, Nathan. I've never talked to you before. I'm a realtor. Can I sell your house for you? Because that's what most realtors do.
Yeah.
So if you can master the just art of conversation a little bit and asking questions and asking them what they do for work and then allowing them to ask you, you'll be light years ahead of most of your competition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That sounds good. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And then I was going to say the other thing too, and again, you'll come on the team if you stay on the team long term. Or if you don't, go get your own, platform, use a CRM. We didn't when we first started the industry. Everything for us was for me, I do a lot of sticky pads and to-do lists. Now those have become digital, right? But everything for us was like sticky pads, notebooks, Excel spreadsheet. Like it was all over the place, man. And I got friends of mine that are in this industry that sell 15 to 40 million in any given year. And they're still just operating off spreadsheets too. So it's not that you can't do it, but I will tell you, if you plug into a CRM and you actually operate out of it every day, your daily activities are going to become so much more simplified and you're going to be on point more time, and it's time on task over time. And so the more time you can spend doing those activities, as opposed to trying to go find stuff, is going to help enable your business. So do everything in CRMs. As you meet people, make sure you have a business card. When you give them the business card needs to have your CRM number. One of the mistakes we made as we built this business is everyone got our personal number. What's that result in? Everyone's messaging you on your personal phone, especially at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. You don't know if it's a family emergency at 11 o'clock at night or if it's a client messaging you and it just jacked up your night. Because no matter which one it actually is, your emotional response to that text at 11 is the same.
Mm-hmm.
It could be an emergency. Something could be, especially when you have sick family members like we've had, you literally don't know if it's the hospital calling to intubate like we've had, or if it's a client messaging you because something's on their mind, they think it's urgent. So put everything in your CRM and allow yourself to create your boundaries and shut off your CRM at a certain time at night. Everyone deserves to do business during their desired business operating hours. We've again had to learn this lesson the hard way. And you deserve to be able to shut off and recharge because that's what best serves your clients.
Yeah.
We thought when we were first
really
here, we thought when we were first in it, man, that we had to be available 24/7 to be able to get business, myself especially. It burns you out. When you don't create the boundaries, it just reinforces their behavior to do that, which then burns you out even more. It's very unfulfilling, right? To do this business and do it right. Again, we're trying to help you guys avoid some of the mistakes that we personally made as well. And that's one of them. So put it all in a CRM and that way everything operates out of there. You can track it from there. And I have a really good mind for when it comes to, oh, I need to do something. And there was this, oh yeah, I remember I need to do this at this time without writing it down. But relying on that, even if it's really good, is not 100%. Your CRM, if you put it in there and you operate out of there, it's just true false, right? Remind me on this date. Cool. It's going to remind you on that date. You don't have to spend the brain energy then to try to remember it.
That's good. What, David, remind me, what CRM do you guys use?
We use Follow Up Boss.
Follow Up Boss. Okay.
So KV Core is provided for free by EXP. KV Core is a great platform in my mind for a lot of things, including it's a decent CRM, in my opinion. But it does a lot of good things. It does squeeze pages. You can property boost. It does a lot of things Follow Up Boss doesn't. But the way I liken it from a CRM perspective, and even though I have one sitting behind me, you're all-in-one printers, right? They're good at all the tasks they do. They're not the best out there at all the tasks they do.
Right.
FUB that we have for a CRM, it is literally just a CRM. It's an open API, so you can get a lot of different software to work with it through the open API, but you are going and buying that separate software, which is then best in breed in that category, right? So like we use Real Scout for our search platform, coupled with Follow Up Boss. They're two completely separate things that you can buy them standalone, right? But you're able to integrate as well. And so Follow Up Boss, in my mind, it's one of the top CRMs out there. A lot of the top teams at EXP use it, which is why we switched over to it. It's not cheap. We pay 5 figures a year for our CRM for our team, right? So it is not a cheap platform, but it's very good for doing business. So
okay, cool.
Yeah,
thank you.
You're welcome. Cool. You guys have been patiently waiting. Who's next?
David, going back into doing open houses, once I become licensed and I have that opportunity, is there like a platform or channel that you guys use that other agents will open up and be like, hey, I can't do this open house, can someone step up? Or how does that work?
Yeah, so the biggest one right now that I would make sure to be on once you get licensed and join EXP is get on Workplace. Everyone should be on Workplace a decent amount throughout the day as well. Workplace is essentially Facebook for work. It's made by Meta. It's a great platform for now. And the reason I say for now is Facebook is shutting it down in, I think, August 2025. They're just discontinuing it altogether. I don't know why, but that's the decision they've made. So EXP is trying to figure out what their possible alternatives are that they'll transition to at that point. But for now, for the next year or so while we have it, it's great. Be in your state group, especially. Most of the states have local groups as well that you can join. And so I would join your local area group and I would put out 2 to 3 times a week that you're offering to do open houses and reach out to EXP agents. The other thing that you should do is just go in the MLS, do a search for properties. And if they don't have an open house already assigned to it by Wednesday at the latest, I'd reach out to the agent and offer to do an open house for them. So a lot of agents nowadays, for whatever reason, don't like doing open houses. They have been, I will say, they have been a little more dead lately, nationwide. Okay, a lot less buyers coming through open houses with the election stuff going on, not getting political, but all the uncertainty with Biden dropping out, the assassination attempt, all those things, right? So The market's a little more frozen than it was before. There's not as many buyers out there right now. So open houses are not as populated. But the way I look at it is this, and this is something we got from one of the Monday morning masterminds, right? You got to work out of somewhere. If you're trying to actively acquire more clients and you have to work from somewhere, you have a choice to the earlier question with Al, right? Drive to a real estate office with all your competitors. Okay, is that going to get you any clients? No, they're all competing for the same business. B, go to a coffee shop. That is a great option, by the way, with your laptop, and put a sticker on the back of the laptop that covers the entire lid that has eXp Realty, your name, your license number, your info, and says, ask me about the market, and see how many people talk to you. Get in line and buy one person behind you a coffee and see if they thank you, right? Just do some unique things, do some different things. Or C, go work out of an open house. Now, worst case scenario, you're working out of someone else's house that's for sale. No one shows up, right? That's your worst case. In that scenario, film content, do social media. You're in the house, you've got the house available to you now to create social media. One of the biggest things that people fail to do is showing other people on a regular basis on social media as social credit and social proof that you're an agent. Don't just say you're an agent. Show them the activities you're an agent. One of my very good friends, very successful in this industry, Adam Stickles within EXP, is one of our partners, great guy, San Jose area, right? He will take photos of his daughter stuffing envelopes because she likes stuffing envelopes for him. She likes being daddy's assistant. He will take photos when he does a door drop with clients. He'll take photos of him walking in the neighborhood and knocking a couple doors, or a video or a Facebook post about it. And these are just the normal everyday activities that he's doing anyways, but he's posting them out there. And what do all those lead to? Most of his business is by client referral. That's how I think he gets about 65% of his business. And it's all because they are constantly seeing him on social media doing real estate. So like, who do I know that does real estate? Oh yeah, the Adam dude. He's always posting about real estate. Let me send so-and-so to him, right? So those are the three options to me. I think you should do those on a regular basis. Look in the MLS to find the open houses, or go on Workplace once you're licensed. There's a lot of stuff that you can't do till you're licensed, right? So while you're not licensed, I would focus on the cold calling with the unlicensed script, because again, there's certain things you can't say, and focus on getting your license and getting prepped to launch your business. One of the other mistakes I see people make is they wait till they get the license to figure out what all they want to do, right? What team they might want to join once you're out of the internship and you have the choice, right? What colors you want for your business, all the things that people spend, quite frankly, too much time on. But they wait until they launch their business. Now they have a license. Now they can actually go produce money, and you sit around doing non-money producing activities because you didn't do it before, right? So I'll tell you this piece too. You don't need a fancy business card to be successful in this business. You don't need a fancy website. You don't need a fancy car. You don't need to wear a suit. What y'all see me wearing right now is typically the most dressed up I've ever been to meet any client, including multi-million-dollar properties. If you want to wear a suit, more power to you. If that's your comfort zone, that's awesome. If you don't want to wear a suit, awesome. If you're tatted up, awesome. Come as you are, right? This is one of those industries where you can operate no matter how you are as a person, just be you, right? But do it with authenticity, do it with energy, and that translates to sales.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, man. All right, who's next? I got a couple of you left. We're going to get through everyone in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Justin or Jonathan? Those are the two that I see right now that haven't gone. Go for it, Justin.
Yeah, I'll go. So one thing that I've learned and I've been super appreciative of, and I think it's useful information for those who are just now starting the internship. So like Dave and Tasha are amazing human beings, and definitely know how to take care of people. So for a lot of us, you're transitioning out of the Air Force, or I'm sorry, the military, but the thing with your, PCS, your move, your household goods, renovations, like Nathan talked about, I'm doing the same thing. And so there's just a lot of life stuff all going on at the same time. And so like, I'm already licensed, but at the point that I'm at right now, like I just don't have the bandwidth to dedicate to a client and, for at least another week, because I know that my household goods will be here hopefully on Sunday or Monday. get the house settled, and then I'll be able to actually just concentrate 100% on the internship. And so I'd like to just say that it's appreciated. But I think for a lot of us coming out of the military, you're used to so much order, discipline, and then production that it's hard to realize that it's okay to like slow down and take a breath and take your time and do things the right way. So I guess that's my recommendation. If you're starting an internship now, take the time to absorb the information and just be open and communicative with David and Tasha because they're very understanding, awesome people. So don't feel like you have to accomplish everything in a week or 2 weeks because if you looked at all the onboarding things for phase one, that's not a week, right? You're looking at like a month of work that you've got to get done. So just be patient with yourself, be understanding, and know that it's going to take time to transition into this new career.
Yeah, appreciate that, man. Appreciate the kind words. So, again, we care about you guys as you transition, right? Like I did 22 years. I just went through the transition myself. Whether you've done 2 years, 4 years, 22 years, whatever it is, all of us coming through this have served. A lot of us have some of our identity tied up in that service. Tell you I did as well, right? It's hard when you transition at times. And transitioning away from maybe you have buddies in your unit, transitioning away from seeing them every day, it's a new norm, right? So there's a lot that you go through. But Justin, to your point, I mean, it's life, right? Like you're dealing with life as you're going through this. This is not operating in a vacuum. There's an ideal scenario to get through things in a certain period of time, right? Life in general, not a vacuum, not always ideal. And so those are going to go up and down. They're going to change a little bit. More understanding about that stuff. So, but what we do need is like you've done is just communication back. Hey, I got XYZ going on. This is going to be delayed because of that. Just wanted to give you an update. Is that cool? Right? Two-way communication, two-way respect. That's really what we're looking for. So we appreciate it from you, man. So cool. Jonathan or Sebastian? Which one? Go for it.
How's it going?
Hey, man.
I'm new here. My name is Jonathan. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. Getting out of the Navy soon. I don't really have any questions right now. I'm just taking notes on what everybody's talking about. I really don't know much about the internship yet, but
Okay.
I'm here and willing to learn more about it.
Cool. Yeah, I would say first thing for you as you're starting to think about it is think what your, again, I don't know where each of you come from, what your current financial situation is, family situation, all of that. We all deal with different things, right? But just start looking at what your financial goals are. Whatever those are, you're going to need to reverse engineer what your activities need to be. So my recommendation for someone that wants to make 200 grand a year is completely different than someone that wants to make 50 a year. As far as activities, effort, energy, where you're going to go do things, all that type of stuff. So I would look at that as you start formulating this. I'm assuming you don't have your license yet. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't have my license yet. I'm working on it.
Okay. Yeah. So just keep pushing that too.
Okay.
And then when the time comes again, we can have a chat about the team and all that type of stuff as well. So, but good to have you.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, David.
Thanks, man. Sebastian, what do you got for me, man?
All right, so I've been still pushing it through the internship and the courses just fine. Right now I'm kind of deciding between maybe going back to college after the internship and continuing a degree in business management.
Okay.
Because I definitely like the concept of making a business and growing it and doing it. Is it realty or not? I'm not sure. I definitely liking realty quite a bit and see what I can do with it. But I think right now that's a low goal that I got for myself.
Okay. I will tell you, so I've got an MBA. I got it to, quite frankly, check the box in the military on the officer side to get a master's back in the day when they were masking and then unmasking the masters for promotion boards. It's been useful to a degree. I will say I did not need the MBA to build this business in real estate at all. So I would say if school is going to serve you and it's what you want to do, maybe it helps you make GI Bill, income, and BH and all that stuff. Cool, right? You can layer it on if that's a desired, choice. I'll just caution you, an MBA is not necessary to be successful in the business world. In fact, a lot of the MBA programs don't actually teach you how to be successful. So you will get more, especially if you want to pursue real estate, you will get more by dedicating the amount of time that you would do an MBA into going to the Monday morning mastermind, the Monday morning masterclass, and prospecting for your business than you will ever receive from doing an MBA program. So again, not trying to discourage you if that's the route you go, good. Just want to make sure eyes wide open.
Yeah, thank
Cool.
you.
Yeah, man. Anything else I can help you with?
Not a lot of questions right now. Just listening.
Okay. All right. Corey and Jackson, you're not on video, so I don't know if you're on, but if you are, will one of you come off mute? Let me know how I can help you, what you got going on, lessons learned, whatever you want to talk about. All right. I assume they're out there. All right. For the rest that are on the call, any go backs for you guys? Anything else I can help with? You have me for 2 more minutes. Good overall. Keep pushing through. If you got questions, as you guys know, for admin stuff, go to Conrad. He'll take care of all that stuff for you. As you get closer to getting your license, you have license questions. Zoar is going to be your primary resource. If it's California questions on how to submit, Zoar can answer, Conrad can answer, but you can reach out to us as well. There's a particular way to submit your California stuff if you're in California to avoid longer processing times that we want to make sure that you guys are aware of. Overall, again, the goal is get your license as soon as possible so you can actually start practicing this thing we call real estate, right? Until then, there's a lot of things that you can't do legally that can get you in a lot of trouble if you do them. So focus on that, focus on the coursework in front of you in the internship. And again, I'd like to see next week reports from everyone on your calls, right? It is a requirement of the internship. You guys do need to be calling. Like I talked about earlier, it's going to build out a skill set or a personal characteristic that you're going to need in this industry. So I'm not focused, like I have you guys report the results just because we need to know them. I want to see them and it's part of goal setting and accountability and all that stuff, right? But I'm not focused on the results from you need to give me 1 appointment a week because we have to sell the house because we got to pay our bills. Whether you give me an appointment or not, quite frankly, I don't care. It's cool. It's a nice bonus. Awesome. Our agents can go call them. But what I need you doing is just the skill set building and the characteristic building of making the calls even when you don't want to. Show that discipline to yourself when you don't have a boss sitting there at your chair or at the workshop or at the jet, whatever you did in the military, right? We all typically had a boss that was riding us for one output or another for however many years you served, right? Real estate, you are not going to have that period. Our team members can attest to this. Justin can talk about it, right? Justin, we're flexible with the things that you need, right? I ask you to be accountable, but am I riding you to say, give me this by this date at this time? I need this. No. At the end of the day, you're doing it to pay your bills and to feed your family, right? We're here to help you facilitate that, but there's no one that's going to be riding you because there's no required work product for this mission, if you will, to be successful. And so without that, you've got to create that self-motivation to be able to go be successful in this industry. And so that's really what cold calling is an example of. It's a sucky thing to have to go do. Don't get me wrong. Cold calling sucks. No bones about it, right? But it's just like the gym. If you can force yourself to be disciplined, to go do something you don't want to do when you don't feel like doing it, that's how you're successful in life. Everyone out there in the world that you're competing against, everyone can go do the fun things when it's always fun and when they're getting a ton of money for it. That's easy. Who's actually going to step up and do the hard work when they're not getting the pay immediately or when it's not fun or when they're getting cussed at? It's not an enjoyable activity. They don't have a boss riding them there. You guys aren't a call center. You don't have a boss riding you going, if you don't get me 1,000 calls by the end of the day, you're fired and you get no pay, right? There's none of that external motivation coming at you. You got to be able to be internally motivated. And so that's what the calls are really an indication of. If you're doing 200 calls, 300 calls, whatever it is, the numbers that you need to hit, without me looking over your shoulder, without people directing you, I know that you're self-motivated. The likelihood of you succeeding in this industry goes up, regardless of your cold calling success. It's just building the habits. You guys haven't read it, Atomic Habits, another good book. Go check it out. Right? All of these are just minor tweaks in how you're doing things in life to build the habits that you need to be successful in a different industry. Again, No boss watching you clock in and clock out. There is no clock here. Quite frankly, the clock is 24/7 if you let it be. And your clients, if you let it be, again, learn from our mistake, will demand you 24/7. There were clients that would message us at 2 or 3. We negotiated a deal at 2 o'clock in the morning. No joke. Never do it again. Bad mistake. All cash buyer. They actually backed out 2 days later. Right. So then you're sitting there and you're like, I was up till 4 o'clock that morning working. I was negotiating with the seller and the other agent and the buyer until 2:30 in the morning. For what? I didn't get a sale. They backed out anyways. Why did we do that sacrifice? Right. But we allowed them to break those boundaries. And if you, the whole give them an inch, they'll take a mile, it definitely exists in this industry. You're a service industry. People are going to take whatever you're willing to give them and then some. So just be mindful of that. Okay. So I hope this was helpful to you guys. Again, we plan on being on here at least once a month to interface with you guys. You know how to interface with us, though, if you need us for something else. You got our whole team supporting you. You can reach out to us if you're not getting the support you need on Slack. We can always set up a call if needed as well. So hope you guys have a blessed week. Look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you, David.
See you.